Hey everyone, my name is Tom. Welcome to Ludicrous Feed Live. Today is Thursday, the 6th of July 2023. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Yes, it is Thursday night, so it is our regular live stream night. So if you're watching us live, hello and welcome. I'm seeing a few members there in the live chat. So yeah, keep those comments and questions coming. And if you're watching us on replay, hello as well. Make sure you leave a comment. If you're listening to us on audio podcast in the car, wherever you are, hello and welcome, and thanks for joining us. All right, well, I want to welcome our co-host for tonight, the one and only Riz from Carloop. Hello, Riz. How are you tonight?
Hey Tom, going well? How you going?
Hey, I'm really well, thanks, Riz. Yeah, it's nice and a bit cool here in Sydney, but we've had a few warm nights. How about you in Melbourne? Nice and cool there?
Yeah, coolish. It's been a little bit wet, but today was a nice day, and I was on a webinar earlier on today with people in New South Wales, and they were a bit disappointed that they were inside and not outside. So it must have been a good day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful, bright, sunny day, definitely. Love those nice, dry winter days here in Sydney. Apologies is being sent from Rahul tonight. He is spending some quality time with family, so we wish him well, and I'm sure he'll be back next week. So yeah, hello Rahul if you're watching. But hope you're having a good time there with the kids. All right, Riz. Well, let's kick off tonight's show. Hey, let's put on your chart, and they are making a return to our streams. Thank goodness. This is New South Wales Tesla uptake growth so far.
It's happening. So yeah, the data came out earlier this week, and yeah, the Tesla fleet grew by, I think, just over 1,800 vehicles. And we're going to touch on it a little bit later, what happened nationally.
Mm.
But yeah, New South Wales going fairly steady. And yeah, good to see 1,700 cars added in 1 month.
Yeah, that's incredible, right? So what are we now? Like 100,000 plus, surely, around the country.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you touched on it, Riz, with regards to car sales in Australia. So let's get straight into it. Hey, this is your article with Giles Parkinson in the Driven. Model Y now second best-selling car in Australia as EVs hit record 8.8%. That's absolutely incredible as we edge closer to that 10% mark.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And June traditionally is a pretty big month. I think the whole auto industry has always spooked it into people that end of financial year sales and all the rest of it. So people think that's the time to buy. So generally speaking, you'd get around 100,000 vehicles sold in a good month. But in June, I think it was over 120,000. So 8.8% of that, it was like over 11,000 vehicles were electric cars,
Yeah,
which is phenomenal.
yeah, it really is, isn't it? Absolutely incredible. So as you said, so yeah, 11,000 cars for the month. And make up 7.4% of new vehicle sales in the first half of 2023. So that's just unbelievable. 43,000 new cars, new EVs added, and that's battery electric vehicles, right? Pure
Yes, that's
BEVs.
right. Pure
Yeah,
BEVs.
yeah. And that's despite states like Victoria cutting back on the rebate, unfortunately.
Well, we've got to get on the beer somehow. So that's just what's going on at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. Whether it's hard to put that to people were rushing in Victoria to get a car before the rebates ended because it just wasn't the case. I think it's a lot of these cars were ordered, over 3 months ago at least, particularly for Tesla. So it's a lot of them were delivered in June as per the usual Tesla cycle, but they've been pretty consistent. They've been delivering cars month on month, so it's been a good thing. But yeah, June obviously the highest month for Tesla ever in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to put Anthony's comment up here. Interesting to see the Ranger got outsold, as we can see in the charts here. So Hilux number one for top selling models overall, and this is overalls, cars, EVs, ICE, whatever. Model Y number two. That's amazing, right? And then yeah, outselling the Ford Ranger, quite a popular Ute.
Yeah, very interesting. I think the other thing is I was looking at the UK sales and they came out, and I think we sold more Model Ys than they did in the UK in June.
Yeah,
So it's quite an interesting sort of dynamics now, and Model Y has also now surpassed the Model 3 as the best-selling electric car this year.
mm. Yeah, it's quite clear, isn't it, around the streets of Sydney and Melbourne, and I'm sure other capital cities. It's good. Good that we're beating the Poms in the cricket, and now the Model Y sales too. So well done, everyone. Tap on the back. Yeah, so good things to come for the rest of 2023, hopefully. Let's have a look at another article here. So this is also your article, and says EV sales by models. So we kind of touched on this already, but let's go through it some more. So this is just EV sales for June 2023, and so BYD's still up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I tried to look at a couple of interesting trends that popped out. One was that BYD Atto 3 sold more than the Tesla Model 3. It's 2 months in a row. Obviously, that's SUVs are very popular, and the Atto 3 is a pretty quality product as well. So I guess people are flocking to that, given it's the most affordable ground up electric SUV that we can buy. Um, Kia did relatively okay. The e-Niro had a good month, and same with the EV6. I think they're doing slightly better than Hyundai at the moment. Hyundai sort of waiting on the new Kona to be released as well, which the e-Niro is slightly, I guess, newer than the last generation of the Kona. And Taycan's done pretty well in June as well, selling I think 74 vehicles in total. For a car that expensive. Some may say it's in absence of the Model S now, but I'm sure a lot of these cars were the orders were placed well over 6 months ago now, so they wouldn't have seen that Model S was going to be cancelled.
That's
So,
true. Yep.
I mean, one of them could potentially be Nash's Taycan that he'll rebadge as a Tesla Model S. We're yet to see that. So if you see one driving around Wollongong, ping us on Twitter.
Yes, a suspicious-looking Model S / Taycan. So, yes, snap that spied for us, and we'll put it on the stream. Interesting too that I got an email this week that Polestar 2 refresh is on the cards. I think it's available now.
Yeah, it's. I think the press cars are sort of available in the UK at the moment in right-hand drive, and from what I got told from someone today, they're a couple of months away in Australia. So hopefully by August or so. Well, sorry, that's next month. Jeez. Yeah, so August, September is when we're going to be potentially seeing the upgraded Polestar 2.
Yeah, that's right, and it's a rear-wheel drive too. So I'm looking forward to test driving that to see what the handling's like too. See that torque steering disappears now with the rear-wheel drive handling. So yep, good to see. Let's take some comments from the audience. So hello, all the members who have joined us. I'll just quickly run through your names there. So we've got, of course, Riz. We've got Thomas Coates. Hello there. Peter Cook, as usual. Anthony, we put his comment up already. Scotty, and yeah, Paul Leparty, and yeah, and Greg Wilson. Hello as well. And Paul's got a good question for us. When will the first month at 10% be? Ooh, time to put our crystal balls in action here. Riz, take a punt.
I would say August or September.
Ooh.
Purely because I think June sales, like it's the first month of over 10,000 electric car sales. In a normal month, we sell around 100,000 cars in Australia. So if the market starts to react with higher interest rates and we sell 90,000 cars and 9,500 of them are electric vehicles, then I'd say we're not far.
Okay, so it's just a numbers game, right? So if like the total sales go down, but EVs stay constant, then yeah, there's your 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's Thomas Coates' question there. Also, how do you think the likes of ChargeFox will react now that EV has just put their charging prices up earlier today? That's true. Got an email saying that their prices have gone up from 45 to 50 cents per kilowatt hour for 50 kilowatt chargers and 60 to 65 cents for 350 kilowatt chargers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a reasonable jump there, about 10%. So don't know. I mean, ChargeFox, I think when we spoke to Rob Riz from ChargeFox, he was telling us that ChargeFox sometimes doesn't set the pricing. It's kind of set by the individual vendors. So it will be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to it will be interesting. I mean, the reality is electricity prices are going up on the wholesale market. I mean, it used to be all about those I Select health insurance ads. July 1, it's all going up. But now it seems power prices are doing the same thing. So
Mm.
it's sort of a reasonable thing for, I guess EV to do what they're doing. Their network is growing. They are in more locations, in places where people will use them, shopping centers and the rest.
Mhm.
ChargeFox, as you said, Tom, and Rob mentioned it as well, that it's sometimes they're constrained on pricing by the host or the operator. So, for example, here in Victoria, a lot of the destination charging across Victoria, which was a program with the charges will be the Tritium RTM 75s, 50 kilowatts, most of them, that's on the EV network. I think from memory it was set at 45 cents, and
Mm.
that's probably what it will remain at, unless those contracts were flexible for EV networks. Because I think EV is in the same situation as well. Not, be interesting to see what happens with the destination charging initiatives. But for ChargeFox, they will have similar things as well, where hosts may want to increase prices, may not. But I'd say more than likely in the next 6 months, we'll see a price increase from ChargeFox as well.
Yep. And Scotty makes a good point. ChargeFox still owns 21 of the DC charger locations, so we shall keep an eye on those ones, hopefully. Let's pop this bit of news up here, actually. See if I can get this going. So, so another OEM, well, is Polestar considered OEM? Another auto manufacturer has jumped on the NACS bandwagon. This time it's Polestar on the back of news of Volvo doing it last week. I think we covered it during our stream. So now we've got GM, Ford, Polestar, Volvo, and Rivian on the NACS bandwagon.
Yeah, it seems to be. I think there was an electric bike maker of some sort also jumped on, and I think what's that other three-wheeler car? I'm
Oh,
trying to
Aptera?
think. Yeah, they're one of the first ones. I guess we'll have to see them on the road yet. But yeah, Polestar and Volvo, and a lot of the sort of charge point operators are now saying we're going to either retrofit some sites or have new sites with NACS charging ports on them or plugs. So yeah, I think, and Volkswagen says they're considering it, but it's a very odd position for Volkswagen to be in, because they're saying they're considering it, but then they bluntly come out and say Porsche will not use NACS adapters or NACS. I'm just like, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I think so. Sounds like the left hand isn't talking to the right hand, to be honest. One's saying one's saying the other. Yeah, I think you're right. It's a matter of time. They're kind of falling like dominoes, really, in the North American continent. So very interesting times. And just to clarify again, very unlikely for that to happen in Australia. We've got CCS2. That seems to be the de facto standard here. NACS stands for North American Charging Standard, which seems to be taking over some of the legacy automakers as well as Polestar, as we just covered. So, yes, we'll keep an eye on this definitely week to week. Very interesting times ahead. Let's cover some more Tesla Highland news. We seem to be doing that quite a bit here. So a bit more noise around, what's to be expected. So we've got your article here is Tesla's new Model 3 range for the Highland expected to be bumped up to around 550 kilometers.
More range. I think it's a bigger battery pack this time around. I mean, still a rumor, so for what it's worth, they think it will be using this new battery from CATL, which has, I believe, manganese in it as well. Higher density, apparently, than the standard LFP packs, and bumping up from current 60 kilowatts to 66 kilowatts, which is 10%. And the range gain is roughly going to be around 10% as well. So we'll be looking at around 550 kilometers of WLTP range on the new Model 3, which eventually will translate into the Model Y as well.
Nicknamed Juniper, I believe.
Yes.
I'm getting quite confused with these acronyms. Well, at least I'm trying to keep track of them. So we've got LFP, obviously, which is the lower density stuff, which is in our rear-wheel drive vehicles. Yeah. And then now you've got this LFMP, which I thought it was M3P, maybe it's something else, but now it's LFMP with the manganese, as you said, with the extra range. So, yeah, 550 WLTP, not a bad thing. I think currently Model 3 is listed as 491 WLTP, I believe,
Yeah.
which translate to about 350 to 400 k's of real world range, depending on how you use your vehicle, of course. So yeah, I mean, that extra range might be handy, but I don't know. At some places, you may not skip a charger anyway with that extra range. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Have to give it some real world testing, I think, in Australia.
I guess remember, Tom, previously the SR Plus was a 450 kilometer WLTP range, which I think at that time had the 55 kilowatt hour battery pack in it. And this was sort of end of 2021 when they upgraded it to 55 to 60 kilowatt hours.
Mm.
But also the acceleration dropped by half a second because I'm not sure if it's to do with more mass, but that was part of it as well. So there's a lot of those cars running around with smaller battery packs, so getting reasonable range as well. So I don't know if bigger is better, but apparently these 66 kilowatt hour pack is going to be cheaper than what Tesla's currently paying for the 60 kilowatt hour LFP pack. So part of it is a cost saving plus giving additional range to those that want it.
Yeah, that's right. And look, as you said, do we need that extra range? I mean, I've certainly got a smaller bladder range than my battery range, and so does the rest of my family. So, and obviously there are health benefits to stopping more regularly too on a road trip. You don't want to get a DVT, right? Sitting in your car too long. So there's some ways you can convince people to say that EVs, you got to stop anyway to charge for other reasons. So you might as well charge your car at the same time. Let's take a few comments from the crowd here. So Peter Cook says there are still some Act2Waggle, which is the ACT charging network, 50 kilowatt chargers operated by EV. They've been 50 cents per kilowatt hours for yonks. Always interesting to see changes. Yep. So interesting. And S Ninja, Tom and Riz, can I get your opinion? Is the Model Y getting an interior refresh when they release the Model 3 Highland? Riz, thoughts?
Generally speaking, from a manufacturing point of view, it's the right thing to do to upgrade the interior at the same time. Then it makes it easier and more streamlined, for the people at the factory, people ordering the parts and supply chain and the rest of it. I'm not sure what they like. I think there is quite a bit of a change between the current Model 3 and the new Model 3 from all the rumors that we've got. So it may be a bit of a lag between the two. But the way timelines are looking and some of the newer rumors are mass production early 2024, which could mean that they may be wanting to do it at the same time or close to it for the Model Y as well. Ultimately, if you've owned a Tesla for a couple of years, you would know that the software itself is pretty good, and you don't, I mean, unless you were really looking for the latest and the greatest in terms of interior design, then it might be worth waiting. But I think the current cars it's a lot of cars, especially after the price cuts from last weekend, which we may touch on.
Yeah, that's right. Have I not touched on that yet? Okay, we better talk about that very shortly. But just one more thing about rumors. Let's put this on the stream. So this is, jobs are coming up in Australia, Australia-wide about I guess autonomous driving testing. I think, Riz, presumably for FSD, I guess.
That's what they say. It's data collection for 3 months. I guess, and there were roles in 4 different cities. So I think it potentially is that. Maybe this is the first stage of what's to come. There were similar roles advertised in Europe only about a month ago. So in Spain and a whole lot of different countries, including the UK, the right-hand drive market. So I wonder if it's, Tesla's doing a whole lot more testing before getting the FSD out there to other countries, or trying to pick up what are the unique changes to each market that they need to factor for in the FSD software. Could potentially be that. I mean, there's no other real reason for them to be, hiring operators to collect more data because the fleet is already doing that. We're all driving around. If you've got a Tesla, and you're collecting data for Tesla anyway. So this must be something more specialized.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit strange, isn't it? Like you said, we're kind of already collecting it for the network. And Scotty says these ads didn't stay up for very long. So yeah, we don't know. Again, Tesla doesn't confirm or deny anything. We just run off rumors here on the stream and in the EV community. So here's an article from Jason Cartwright from TechAU, basically saying Build 2023.20.7 has the FSD code in it, or the build. So it's starting to come into Australia, I guess. Obviously, we can't use it. Even if you've got the FSD package, you can't activate it. But it seems like we're getting closer. So, I mean, he touched on the fact that there are job positions as well across the country in 4 states, as you said, Riz. So, if those job roles are gone, I guess either they got them, filled them, or I don't know, they changed their mind or whatever. But you're saying there are shifts. What is expected of the roles? So, yeah, interesting.
I think the end date for that position, or maybe the role itself advertised online, was 31st of July. So maybe they had got enough applications for people to drive around in them for 3 months, and or it might just be that they may end up finding another way of hiring people as well. So it'd be interesting to see what happens, but I think there's a bit of change coming when it comes to they must be feeling pretty confident in the States as to how the FSD software is performing, coming to it was controlled beta, then it got out to a whole lot of other people, and now it's sort of like pretty much anyone that has it can get it in the US. So I guess they must be getting pretty close to it and pretty confident in the results that they're seeing with the general rollout.
Yeah, that's right. I almost wonder when they perfect it, or whatever that means, or ready to go to market, to other markets, whether they'll make it subscriptions straight off the bat, because 10 grand is a fair whack for software. So whereas something like, I don't know, 300, $400 a month, that's a bit more palatable, and might actually encourage more people to take it on board. So we shall see what happens. Let's touch on that price rise, Riz. So I'll just call up your article actually. Where is it? Here we go. So speaking of, so yes, the price, did I say rise? Sorry, price drop across Model 3, Model Y in Australia. So I did do a video on this as well based on your very good article. But in summary, basically each variant in Australia, Model 3 and Model Y, has dropped by $3,500. I think it was, what day was it? This article is dated 1st of July.
Saturday, that's what it was, yeah.
Yes, 5 days ago, which is great. I mean, great for those of you who haven't taken delivery yet. I do feel for those who just took delivery. You lost $3,500, but think of the car. It's a great car. It'll keep you happy for many years to come. Riz, is this unexpected? I mean, there's never any hint from Tesla, is there? They're going to drop the price or raise the prices.
I'm seeing a trend now.
Yeah?
The first week of each quarter. So the first week of each quarter. So they slashed prices in the beginning of the year. Then they did it again, I think, in April. If you scroll down a bit, I think the last prices were from, I think that was sort of in April that they dropped them to that level, 63,400 or whatever it was.
Okay.
Or 65,000. So first, sorry, that's Model Y. So first week of every quarter, they seem to be making changes.
Oh, that's a big call, Riz. So it's interesting. So we might get people delaying their deliveries towards the end of the quarter because of this little bit of news we're just breaking here.
It's not financial news here, but I mean, this is just the trend. But I don't think it's going to go any lower than what it is now. It's as low as you can get. It's a lot of car for the money.
Oh, 100%. I mean, 57 grand for Model 3, that is the lowest, definitely. Previously it was 59, now it's 57. So who would have thought, right? In high inflationary times.
Well, exactly. And the other key thing is, like, as much as we take the Model 3 for granted, it's competing against like the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. I don't think that starts anything under 75 grand these days.
Mm.
So, and same with the BMW 3 Series or Audi A4, they're all expensive
Mm.
compared to what value you offer, and you never have to go to a petrol station again.
You know what this does? This puts a lot of pressure on other brands like Polestar, BYD. I mean, BYD, I mean, we were talking on the stream not long ago that the Seal, if it comes in at mid 50s, that'd be good value, right? I mean, suddenly you got a $57,000 Model 3 on offer. Come on.
It's and you know, some people are saying, oh, it's because it's going to get a refresh and all the rest of it. A lot of those changes are fairly cosmetic, and yes,
Mm.
maybe it will have a slightly bigger battery pack, but this is extremely good value given you can pick it up in a couple of weeks' time or a month or two.
Yeah. And I think Elon Musk or someone said that it's not, no, it was Tesla Scope. Sorry. Tesla Scope did tweet it's unlikely to increase in price, the Highland anyway.
Hmm.
Um, Yeah, because I mean they are improving the efficiency of manufacturing, right, in across Tesla factories. So it doesn't make sense to increase prices. So there we go, $57,000 Model 3, everyone. And suddenly Model Y qualifies for the rebate in a lot of states now, because
Hmm.
in New South Wales, in my state, it was $68,750. So it just missed out on that rebate, but now it's well under. Um, and every single variant except for Model Y Performance falls under the new 2023-24 luxury car tax threshold. And even the Performance Model Y is only over by $2,000. So you're not paying a lot of luxury car tax all of a sudden. Makes these cars very compelling, which is great. And of course, in Queensland, as Greg said, $6,000 rebate. Of course, that means tested $180,000 household income, but still, that's pretty good. Speaking of price drops, let's put this one up too. Actually, this is the Ora. The Ora GWM Ora gets a price drop as well. What are we talking about now?
I think around 39,990 plus
Mm,
on roads.
okay. Now, is this a true price war? Now we've got 3 EVs under 40K. Can we call it a price
Um,
war?
it's hard to tell. Well, so if you look at the numbers in terms of sales, which is generally deliveries, the way they're reported through VFACTS,
Mm,
they delivered 3 in May, and they've delivered, I think, around 60 something this in June. Some of them could potentially be dealer demos and a
mm,
whole lot of things that are registered. But it's I don't know if the demand for this car is there or it hasn't been promoted in that way.
mm,
So even at the price point, now it will make it into the list of the most affordable electric cars available in Australia. But I don't see it as a compelling enough offering compared to the MG4 or the BYD Dolphin.
mm. I tend to agree there, Riz. I have reached out to GWM Australia. If you're watching this person, you know who you are. But I'm still looking for a response. So I'd actually love to have a look at this car and let Australia know that we're serious, right? GWM with regards to EVs. So as you said, Riz, it's been very quiet recently from GWM for the Aura. Love to have a
These
look
were
at it.
supposed to be delivered, or the first big batch was supposed to arrive in April. So, and then the names dropped. It used to be the Aura Cat. Now it's just the GWM Ora. And also, I guess if we wanted to see one, apparently we'll have better luck just going to a Great Wall dealer
Mm,
and having a look. There was a couple of things floating around on Twitter earlier this week, but yeah, I guess GWM, if you're listening, we need a car for the channel
yep.
so people can really see what it's like before the big guns from MG and BYD come along.
Yep, 100%. We want the real deal. We want you to be serious, GWM. So, yep, you had to hit first. Yeah. So let's stay on the Chinese EVs. So speaking of Dolphin, let's put this one up. So this is the BYD Dolphin launching in Brazil and the South African EV market with the Atto 3.
So it seems the BYD is launching in a lot of markets that others won't go to. I'm not sure. I may be completely wrong, but I don't think Tesla is in Brazil yet. But I'm not sure. But I think they're touching on a lot of those markets. I think we also spoke about them going to Jamaica recently.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess, and in UAE, in the Middle East as
Hmm.
well. So they're launching in markets and doing it in a way where there's not many other compelling electric options at the moment. So yeah, good on them. And as they're ramping up production, like the Atto 3 truly is a global car.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And it's great to see BYD going into markets others fear to tread. So great to see. And oh, hello, Charles. Charles has joined the chat. The Nissan Leaf did that when they first launched. So many countries. Yep.
Ooh.
Thanks, Charles. I'm seeing Price War bandied a few times in the chat there. So yeah, maybe this is the time. Maybe it's time to roll that out. BYD Ute. Any more news on that, Riz? BYD Ute?
I haven't heard anything, but apparently it was being spoken about in Australia that there may be stuff happening, but I guess in China at the moment there is a few spy shots of the Ute, but hard to tell. I think it's probably pretty credible as well because BYD is going to be building a plant in Thailand, and Thailand is a big market for those lighter pickup trucks or the Utes of the world. So if that happens, then we're more than likely to see it as well. Um, and that factory in Thailand will be ready next year with the production output of up to 150,000 electric vehicles a year.
Beautiful.
So right-hand drive, it's a good thing. And a fair few other Chinese manufacturers are also heading to Thailand and building manufacturing plants. We may
Mm.
not even have heard of them yet, but they will be potentially coming to Australia as well. A brand that I sort of came across, GAC Ion.
Mm.
They have some compelling cars that they're already making in right-hand drive for the Thai market, but they're also setting up their Southeast Asian head office and a manufacturing plant in Thailand for right-hand drive builds. So interesting to see.
Yeah, I think a Chinese made, or at least an affordable Ute, electric Ute, will certainly be very compelling because you know what? People who use the Utes, obviously, are tradespeople. Bottom line is crucial. A cheaper Ute is going to be very appealing, right? So that'll be an entry point for those kind of professions to embrace EVs. So I think we need something like that in this country, whether it be the BYD Ute, the Geely Ute, whatever it is. Keep them here. Let's bring them in. Yeah, Scotty says, "Give me an EV van." Yeah, I think there are a few at the moment out there. Not a lot, right?
Yeah, there's one launching soon from a relatively well-known brand. I mean, there's the 4D Transit, we all know about that, but something a bit smaller. I might have more to share in the next live stream.
Oh, good. Interesting point here from Durian. I love durians, by the way. Just saying. Uh, controversial. Put down a deposit on a MG4 51 kilowatt Excite last weekend after the recent Tesla price drop, tempted by the Model 3. See, this is what we're talking about, right? Suddenly, the Model 3 price drop. You're thinking twice now. Putting a deposit down on a car like the MG4. It's the margin is getting a lot smaller.
That's the thing, especially for the hatchbacks of the world, because unless you had a pretty specific sort of a use case and you were trying to fit a lot of stuff in the back of the car, um, which is easier in a hatchback or an SUV, I think the Model 3 is quite a lot of car for the money. And you're right, Tom, it is getting closer. So the MG and BYD Atto 3 is a special sort of a car in its own sense because it is an SUV. But if the form factor wasn't as important, then Model 3 is sort of the best value electric car. Value is obviously depends on the person that's making the purchase,
Mm,
but if you compare it to anything else, and we still don't know what numbers will MG be bringing into Australia.
that is very true. Historically, not huge numbers compared to BYD or Tesla, right?
Mm,
I know. Hope you don't mind me saying you often have to sift through the data for the ZSEV, like to differentiate between ICE and EVs.
yes.
Yep.
And last month it was one of the highest months, and it was 387
Mm.
MGZS EVs. I'm not sure how many were the new long range that were registered to dealers as test drive cars, but if you think about it, it's like MG has promised that they're looking at bringing ships worth in. Don't know what that's like, but I guess so far the only other brand that's trying to do that and is actually doing a fairly reasonable job at it is BYD.
Mm.
So Dolphin, I think I have a little bit more certainty on in terms of large numbers, orders getting fulfilled, people not having to wait 6 to 9 months. And Tesla moves so fast in six to
Mm.
nine months that, 6 months ago, the Model 3 was like 65 odd thousand plus on roads.
Mm.
Now it's nearly what $8,000 cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's the lowest that it's been. You can't really go wrong if you can stretch it out a bit more, and you're in a state with subsidies, or if you can get sort of an FBT exemption from your employer or other ways, it's hands down, and you can get it in a month or two's time.
Yep.
And we're not handing out any Tesla referral codes here, so it's not like we're going to get any incentives of it, but it's just general advice that it is extremely. And if you're unsure, test drive one.
Yeah. Having said that, do use a code. It doesn't have to be mine or Riz's. Just make sure you get a code because you do get some free charging. But yeah, well said, Riz. That's absolutely right. I mean, look at the Model Y in New South Wales. Suddenly, with that price drop, you're not just saving the $3.5 grand. You're saving $3 grand on the rebate as well. So that's suddenly a $6.5 grand saving for a huge SUV for that price. It's just almost a no-brainer, really, if you do day-to-day driving around town.
Well, the only people that should be worried are the incentive people, because they'll be flying through the door with and SUVs. Like last year, 53% of all vehicles was an SUV. Such
Mm,
a and Model Y is more than an SUV. Like in the space
mm.
that it has, the functionality that it offers, the technology, and with rebates, it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yep. Look, I know not everyone loves an SUV, but hate it or love it, it's a popular car, right? So you got to meet the market. I want to put up this comment from where was it? Yeah, so actually I'll put this one up first. So Melbourne lad, yep, base Model 3 cheaper than MG4, top MG4. That's probably true. And Peter Cook says bi-directional charging will be enormous when you have life expired EV. So true. Leave it plugged into V2G in your backyard forever. Cheaper than the equivalent of 3 Powerwalls. Yeah, well said. Well said. Definitely that case for reusing batteries, right? So very, very good comment there. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, and also he says your kids will be popular at school when they're picked up in a Tesla. My nephew loves it when I do the school run. Yeah, well done, Peter. Yeah, I get a lot of fingers pointing at the cars. Hopefully, it's a good thing, not because they're not clean. And Scotty says Tesla is going to have to build a dedicated ship to supply more EV to Australia. Did anybody see an article today about sail-powered ships coming back, given the
Oh,
renewable trend? It looked pretty cool. I know it was a prototype or AI rendered, but still, like, pretty funky. I
yeah.
don't know if it's viable or not. Yep, current price no-brainer. And Scotty says Sixt has the Model 3 for rent at $100 a day with ICV discount. Woo,
Ooh.
baby. That's really good. Very nice. And may have finally put down money for the Y. Well done. My price drop plus rebate, $6.5 grand. Exactly what we just said. Got the missus over the line. There you go. Happy wife, happy life. Well done. Fantastic. Let's put this comment up now. Oh, this article, sorry. Sorry, I lost my share screen, but I'll just pop it back. Where is it? Okay, so this is actually from one of our viewers, Gaffer. I can't see him in the stream tonight, so if you're watching, Gaffer, hello. But this is your tweet from this week. I thought it was quite cool. So he actually went out to have a look at the new Pheasant's Nest Ampol charging hub, which looks very European, I have to say. Once I show you the pictures, you know what I mean. So that's the charging screen there, and then that's what it looks like. Is this one of the Aptronics? Riz?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ultronic
Aptronics.
Hypercharger.
Yeah, it's pretty nifty. And then that's what I mean with the quote unquote European style. With the canopy shade, and then you've got quite well signed next to the kind of almost looking like petrol stops. Looks pretty cool. As opposed to just a side thought. Yeah, I like it. Riz, you like it?
Yeah, I think look, the layout looks pretty cool. I'm not sure how many chargers. It looks like there's 3 charger units with probably 6 plugs, if not more, or 6 charging bays. Yeah, very very cool. I guess it's one of those sites you actually have to go there to see what it's like. But yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to go check it out sometime. Yeah, so stay tuned, everyone. If you subscribe to my channel, I'll certainly get some time to get up there to have a look. And yes, Snip says looks like some accessible spots.
Hmm.
First for Australia. Yeah, I think I can't quite see it in that shot, but cool. And look, I like this too. Look, squeegee water bucket. I feel the love. It's good. So yeah, thanks Ampol for doing that. Appreciate it. Yeah, Peter's saying 6 bays, 6 ECS2, and 3 Chatamo. Scotty, 3 chargers with 3 plugs each. Okay,
Yeah, cool.
Whatever it is, it's great. Lots of chargers. Okay, let's put up another article. Let's see what else have we got. So more Tesla news. Let's put this one up. What have we got here? Okay, so this is more to do with production for Tesla for second quarter 2023. So produced 479,700 and delivering 466,140. Incredible figures, really.
I think most analysts were expecting around 450,000. So Tesla produced nearly 30 more thousand vehicles. That's a lot of cars. And yeah, and delivered 466,000. So there's a fair few that are in transit, and the rest. And as the production increases, that difference will get higher, and it's completely normal to see that as well. And as supply chain situations improve as well, and logistics get better, and Tesla finds more efficiencies, I think this is great to see that they've sort of set a target of 1.8 million electric cars, and I think they will get there. So yeah, amazing stuff.
Yeah, just when you think other brands are catching up, like then Tesla pulls stuff like this, it's just incredible. So yeah, always good to follow. So well done, Tesla. Let's have a look at this one. So Tesla Scope. We're talking about hardware 4 again. I like Tesla Scope's account. They kind of put out stuff like this, and they're usually fairly accurate. They said if from Fremont or Giga Texas, almost 100% chance of including hardware 4. Other factories are having supply chain / part constraints, so no guarantee. We're working on a tool to verify hardware 4 to accept delivery, which is great. They actually made a tool, which is good. So yeah, I mean, if they're saying Fremont, Giga Texas this year, Riz, I guess China maybe next year for us for Gigafactory Shanghai.
Yeah, it could be to do with what we were talking earlier around the Model 3 refresh as well, and potentially Model Y getting the same sort of treatment. But in the US, I guess with Fremont, if Tesla Scope's saying that hardware for vehicles, Model Ys particularly, are coming out of there as well, so Model 3s must still be on the old hardware. So maybe they're waiting for that changeover to occur as well. Then there's other speculations that we may see the reveal maybe this month, but I don't see that. Tesla usually promotes that sort of stuff. They did, I guess, a delivery event for the Model S Plaid in June 2021, so I'm assuming it was revealed prior to that. The only main time we may learn about when this changeover is happening is potentially at the earnings call for Q2, which should be 3rd week of July. But apart from that, there's nothing else booked in. And at this stage, what Tesla Scope's saying is probably right, and Shanghai may be months away.
Yeah, so don't worry too much if you just took delivery. You go, hardware 4 won't be up for a while, so enjoy your car. Kenny Timms, are we checking out the Melbourne EV show at the end of September? Riz, are you?
I did see that pop up. I know there's it's sort of come out of nowhere. That particular show, I have plans of going and having a look, but I'm not sure what to expect, and I don't know a lot about it apart from that it is happening. Not sure who is involved, but apparently there's also a ticket, like Fully Charged had a ticket,
Oh,
which is fair enough. But I guess we need a bit more info on that one, so we might
mm,
dig up some info and have it on next live stream.
sounds good. So this is interesting this week. So we've got Australian startup to use $5 million to combat biggest EV issue, home charging. I think these are three people from, or ex-executives from Tritium starting up their own thing, EVOS,
Hmm.
launching its first electric car charger designed for consumers. Interesting.
It's an interesting, I guess, concept, but I don't know if I fully understand because I guess most Tesla owners, if they have access to a carport or a garage, will have a wall connector or Zappy or wall box or whatever it is. And most of those products seem fairly sort of well designed, and they talk to the car and the rest of it. Um, I'm not sure if what the real uniqueness is, but I guess they are from Tritium and charging company. They may have more know-how around how people charge at home.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, if you're listening, send a unit to Tom, uh, and then we can really test it out.
Yeah, or better yet, come on the stream first and we could chat about it, right?
Yeah.
Um, and actually, Riz made a good point because I've heard that Tesla are going to release a new version of the app which allows for in-house excess solar charging as well, a bit like Charge HQ or Zappy. So that'll be interesting to watch.
It's nearly out. In the US, I think it's already out,
Oh,
that feature on the app.
okay.
Um, I think you do need actually a Powerwall.
Right.
So there is a Powerwall component on how that's sort of done. I guess if Charge HQ, I think, still works well for most people, and the way it controls when the car charges, quite good. But I guess that any startup that's working in the charging space, there's lots of opportunities, and if the first product isn't the right one, if you iterate enough and listen to your customers, I'm sure you'll get the right product which will resonate with the market.
Yep, that's right. And look, I quite like the fact that Charge HQ is software based. You can always update it very quickly, as we know with over-the-air updates. So, hoping these guys are more software than hardware. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what if they come on the show. Come on the show and explain it to us, please. That'd be great. I might answer this question here. Where is it? Someone asked. Here we go. So Nick, why did Tom's asked? Sorry, Nick asked Tom why the rear-wheel drive 3? Are you over the excessive acceleration, or just too much value for money? We kind of touched on this, Riz. Like it was for me. It was just so compelling. It was. I mean, it's even though I got the higher price, it's still so good. Got the rebate, no stamp duty. It's going to resell better than a performance. So I mean, a kind of no-brainer for a runabout around town. So that's your answer, Nick. And I can't accelerate too much on the city streets anyway, so I'm pretty happy with what I've got. So, but a good question, Nick. Thank you. Riz, this might be right up your alley. I might share this article here. This might make a few more Victorians upset. That extra point 3 cents on electric vehicle bills, that makes little sense.
Um,
What can I
oh,
say?
that's Bryce's photo there.
Ah,
Yeah, Bryce is one of the contributors to the Driven as well. Very, very thoughtful guy. And just while we've got Bryce on, if anyone's ever interested in the models available in Australia today, Bryce does an awesome fact sheet, and it's on AEVA's website. So check out AEVA. Does an awesome fact sheet on all the vehicles available. But going back to the Vic Roads charge, uh, I'm not sure what's going on there. They cancel people's registrations apparently a
wow.
couple of months ago, where they hadn't paid their road user charge, but they never got the notification to pay your road user charge. So Vic Roads doesn't know how many electric vehicles are on Victorian roads. That's a fact. One of my electric vehicles, I've never received a road user charge form for, and I've never paid anything.
Oh dear.
I should not be disclosing this. I mean, Vic Roads, if you're listening, ignore what I just said. But this is the reality. There's one car that I pay for, and the other car I've never seen anything about it. So it's an issue with data. It's an issue with technology, and then those that somehow have been nabbed, which is majority of the EV drivers, paying 2.8 something 3 cents it's ridiculous, and we're the laughing stock for a lot of different parts of Australia and the world, and this doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, look, I think this is important, revealing stuff like this, because we have to be transparent with government, revenue and stuff like that, like and spending, because if we have to keep them accountable. If this stuff is slipping through and no one knows how many cars are in Victoria that are EVs, Riz, that's a huge problem. Concern,
It
right?
is, and then there's other things that I'm seeing on Victorian roads that really blow my mind. On our Toyota Corolla hybrids, they have an EV blue triangle just like our Teslas do.
Mm.
So, I mean, I know it's something to do with the battery, and that's all good for first responders and those type of things. So but they don't pay. Toyota's amazing self-charging technology that they have. They're not paying this 2.8 cents, but they've got a little EV triangle on it. So
Mm.
how are we distinguishing what's an EV and what's not an EV? And why are there people that are slipping through the cracks and others that are paying 2.8 cents? And it doesn't matter where you drive, it's just to do with your odometer.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hodgepodge at the moment. So yeah, I whoever's writing these articles, keep it up, because yeah, we need to sort of dig into the facts here and see what's happening in Victoria. So great work. Speaking of hybrids, actually, let's touch on this article from the ABC. So plug-in hybrids once dominated EV sales, now their market share is tanking. And the article basically goes on to say that yes, it sort of said we're now up to 8.8% last month of EVs, and PHEV sales are basically going down. They're not what they used to be. And I guess plug-in hybrids, from what I can tell, we use the role of the plug-in hybrid is to help you transition from a petrol to an electric vehicle. I kind of feel like they've kind of served their purpose, right? We get it. Yes, EVs are great. The range, we're kind of more confident now with a BEV range and what they're capable of. Do we really need new plug-in hybrids? I mean, people still need that reassurance, Riz?
In Australia, I guess the most successful plug-in hybrid that I'm aware of is the Mitsubishi Outlander, and they've been doing it for a long time. At that time, charging infrastructure was limited, and you still see a fair few of them charging around, which is good to see. It's actually quite good to meet people that are doing that at charges. But in general, it's like any new technology. I think just because we were slow on the pure battery electric vehicle uptake, we sort of surpassed this whole plug-in hybrid thing from the middle, where Europe, it's still running in circles. They've got a whole lot of plug-in hybrids running around, and that's a double whammy in terms of the trouble that they can have on those vehicles, and nobody would want them anymore because the battery electric vehicle technology is so good. They've got so many options, they've got so many charges. So yeah, in some ways we've sort of leapfrogged this plug-in hybrid surge that we could have seen if our EV uptake was sort of gradual, but we're seeing the huge sort of ramp up. So yeah, interesting to see how the numbers are coming down.
Yeah, you see now. Look at that 70% share of all EVs in 2014. I mean, admittedly, not very many EVs, but nowadays it's like 6% of all electric vehicles are only PHEVs. So they really have plummeted. At the end of this article, actually, was quite interesting. And obviously, battery electric vehicle is climbing, as we can see there. But I quite like this this chart here. It's quite busy, but essentially, it's telling us that the data they have shows that the life cycle of a battery electric vehicle is still better than an ICE vehicle over the course of its life, even though it does obviously consume more or produce more carbon at the production phase, but over the life of the vehicle, especially if you charge on renewable energy, it's certainly worth doing from an environmental point of view. So good to see the ABC are on board. So thank you for that article. Excellent. All right, let's have a bit of fun now. Let's go to Toyota Watch. So, Riz, look at this. Toyota aims to halve size, cost, and weight of EV batteries with new solid-state technology. How exciting! Yeah, they're going to kill it by 2027 at the earliest, apparently.
Look, there's a lot of promises around, solid-state batteries, and I'm sure that they are, but I think it's what's needed today. So solid-state batteries may be ready in 2027, but it doesn't mean we do nothing between now and then. And it was interesting with that one of the earlier articles, Tom, where I sort of break down every single electric vehicle, and there wasn't one Japanese brand on there.
Very true.
This is Australian EV sales, and there was not one Japanese brand on there. I specifically tried to look this month at the Toyota BZ4X and the Subaru Solterra. Subaru is advertising pre-order and the rest of it on Facebook and other channels, but there's nothing. So then it's one of these charts there, I've struggled to find anything that I could really point the finger at. No. Oh, sorry, maybe the Nissan Leaf. I forget about the Leaf. Yeah,
apologies,
we found it. We found it.
Yeah, no Lexus, no Toyota, Honda. Closest obviously the Korean brands, but yeah, no, only one Japanese brand in that list. Disappointing.
And that's the thing, though. If we go back to what Toyota's saying now, they have to do something. And in markets where they know they've got a lot to lose, like China, they are collaborating with BYD, using BYD battery tech to put out vehicles like the BZ3, which is like a Corolla sedan, but fully electric, basically running BYD drivetrain and software. So I think, they may be putting it out there that they're working on amazing renewable technologies, but in markets where, things hit the fan, they have to do something. Yep. And they are doing it by basically buying technology and putting out a vehicle and hoping their brand recognition gets them there. But I wish them all the best in terms of getting the solid-state batteries ready. We do need other technologies, but you can't put all your eggs in a wishful basket thinking that it's all going to stay there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like with Toyota, like they're like the misbehaving child, right? Like they keep stuffing up, but you're the loving parent. You're like, I really want to believe you, Toyota. Like, I really want this to work, but you're not doing the homework. So just stop talking and do it, and actually put the research and resources into doing this. Anyway, but here's a good call from Matt. With current Toyota PHEV hybrid wait times, you'll be waiting until 2027 anyway. Good call. Yeah. Charles says, I wonder if the people buying a brand new Leaf know that some charging networks are now excluding CHAdeMO from their new stations. Yeah, that's very true. WA EV network, most RAA charge locations, many BP Pulse locations, and the one very close to my home, EV charger, there's 4 plugs and they're all CCS2. So good point there, Charles. Yeah, even though that was federally funded, by the way. Very interesting. All right, let's get to another bit of news, actually. What have we got? So let me see. Here we go. Bit of fun here from... Okay, so this is the Cybertruck in action. We love seeing this. Cruising the 280 in Fremont. I assume that's one of the major roads there.
It's interesting to see when it goes over a little hump on the road, and it's still fairly stable and planted.
Oh yeah, that's cool. The suspension's awesome. Yeah, watch this all day.
It's like that. I think the April Fool's thing that Tesla did with Cybertruck crash test, and they had that running in loops. Yeah. Never hit the wall.
Yeah. No, it's good to see it in action. Oh, thank you, Paul. Paul's pledged $5. Since Japanese EV and PHEV sales are tanking, why does Australia still mandate CHAdeMO chargers? Yeah, we kind of touched on that, didn't we? I'm not sure they are still. Like I said, some of the newer arena-funded chargers don't have CHAdeMO, so I guess the writing's on the wall. Oliver says, recently Peugeot E28 electric city hatch confirmed for Australia. What do you think of this edition of another hatchback for 2024? Riz, you're a hot hatch fan?
Yeah, I saw it today. You can register your interest now, and I think it's a good thing. The more options we have, and if nothing else, if slightly quirkier brands like Peugeot are able to bring hatches, because Fiat's bringing their 500e, and a Bath
Bath, yep.
equivalent is bringing the angrier Score Prisma. So
yes.
anything new it's good to have more options. As a city runaround car, it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. Don't mind that. In some ways, smaller cars is good. Less clog on the roads, I would have thought. Scotty, about the Cybertruck. Can't see it too camouflaged. It's doing its job. All right. Actually, I'll put this one up as the last thing we'll talk about today, and this is some promising news for FSD fans before we sign off. So, yeah, there's a lot of acronyms here again, which are going over my head, but essentially the gist of it is that I think it's very close to being approved in Europe, FSD. So, good signs for Europe, hopefully, then the UK, then maybe us in Australia, New Zealand. So, getting closer.
I think the key to Tesla cracking FSD in Australia is for basically the vehicles to be able to do a hook turn in Melbourne. If the vehicles can do a hook turn in Melbourne without crashing into a tram, I think there's nothing else that I've come across that's as crazy or confusing as what that is. So that could be the ultimate test, and maybe that's what. Maybe they had 4 roles in different states, but they basically cancelled all of them and bought all 4 operators in Melbourne to do these hook turns. So if you see them in Melbourne CBD, that's what's going on.
Yeah, I gotta say, even as a human driver, I deliberately avoid Melbourne CBD when I visit as a driver. I pick my accommodation just outside because I don't like doing those hook turns, to be honest. So you're right, Riz. If FSD can master that, then yeah, I think anything's possible. And roundabouts and kangaroos. That's the other 2 things they need to be aware of in Australia. All right, everyone. That is basically it for tonight, the 6th of July, 2023. And before we sign off, I just wanted to talk about this. So Riz and I will be doing an additional stream each week if we can. And we'll try and aim for Saturday or Sunday mornings. We're going to call it Weekend Extra. So if you're up on a Saturday or Sunday morning, we may or may not be there, but we are hoping to be there. And the hope is just to catch up on extra stuff that we miss out on during the week with the streams, with my content. Still important pieces of information, but we'll chat about that during those streams. So yeah, hopefully we can see you there. Riz and I will be there, hopefully. Looking forward to it, Riz.
Yeah, I think it would be good. And if anyone has any suggestions on a specific type of news that you think we don't cover enough of, or you'd like to see, let us know, and then we'll get it on the Weekend Extra stream. And if it's popular enough, then we'll bring it down to the main live stream on Thursday nights as well.
Yeah, that's right. I guess you're right. It's kind of a bit of a testing ground, right, for the channel. So yeah, it's a morning coffee charge session. That's right. I was going to call it that. But yeah, also I guess hopefully we can try and capture some of the North American viewers too, Northern Hemispheric viewers who opposite time zone to us. So if it's our morning, it should be there to the prime time. So we'll see what happens anyway. But not that we don't value you guys. We love everyone who tunes in, but it's just a bit extra for the weekend. So cool. All right. Well, Riz, thank you so much once again for joining us live as always.
Thanks, Tom, and thanks everyone for joining us. It was awesome to be here, and keep the questions going and keep sharing all the good news about how amazing EVs are.
Absolutely, and Riz, keep up with the good work with your articles in The Driven, what you're doing with Carloop too.
We'll keep it happening.
Yeah, we'll keep going. That's right. And thank you to everyone on live chat as well. I saw some good numbers overall tonight, so thank you so much. And if you watch this far on replay, thanks so much again, and leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And if you listen this far on audio podcasts, thank you very much. And again, shout out to Rahul. Hope you're enjoying your time with the family, and we shall see you next week. So, yeah, thanks so much. All right, Riz, take care. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time on Ludicrous Feed Live. Bye for now.